Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel for those of you returning, if anyone is. And today we're going to be playing Risk of Rain 2, and on the autism front I'm going to talk about what I like about autism today, as opposed to the usual just trying to, figure things out and the struggles and difficulties and things like that. So for those of you who don't know, Risk of Rain 2 obviously is the sequel of Risk of Rain, which was a 2D pixelated roguelike, which was a ton of fun. I played many hours of it. I think I'm probably at like 600 or 700 hours on Steam. I'm not sure. But Risk of Rain 2 is the sequel, which takes that same concept and makes it three-dimensional. Oh, I actually like that you can see some of the bosses in the background. I haven't noticed that before. That's cool. Um, but yeah, it makes it three-dimensional, which translated extremely well. I've been following this developer for a long time. Hapu is the name of the developer. This is still in early access, but it is already a pretty fun game. The original did have a win condition. This one currently only has either you lose or you obliterate yourself and end the run. And it has, let's see, 8 characters currently. So we've got the Commando, who's your basic starter. He has 2 pistols. Actually, yeah, you can't rotate the characters here. Then we've got a robot, Multi, who has a chain gun that can also be swapped out for an alternate weapon. I've got some of the additional unlocks, so if you were to pick up this game, the power saw is an unlock that you get for completing some challenges. Here's your Huntress, who I think I might play, mainly because I don't really have to aim with her. Her attacks, you can fire seeking arrows, so they automatically home in on targets. She can actually only fire them when she has a target in range, and she can attack while sprinting. So she is highly mobile, pretty squishy, but a lot of fun. The engineer lays down turrets. The turrets inherit all the items that he receives. So there is some really fun synergies with that, and that makes him quite overpowered, but also a fundamentally different playstyle from everyone else. You have the Artificer, who is a glass cannon. She is all about just bursting as much damage as she possibly can. She even has an ability, the Snap Freeze, that instantly kills enemies that are at low health if they're caught in the freeze, which is super useful. There is an item that also does that specifically to elites, but she's the only character that can do it to any enemy so long as they're below a certain health. Your Mercenary is the first of the melee classes to be released. He is a returning character from the previous game, and he has a lot of invulnerability frames, and just he's a ton of fun as well. You have Rex, who's also a new robot character. He's kind of a weird mix between shooting projectiles that heal him, and then using his health with this plant matter to lock things down and give himself health regen. So it's a strange mix. It's pretty fun, but not exactly my favorite playstyle. Here's the inaugural yawn. And here's the newest character, the Loader. So she is just a fantastic high damage hitting single target like burst character, and she's a lot of fun. Also melee. Maybe I'll play her instead of the Huntress actually. Yeah, let's do that. I am going to play on Drizzle, which is the easiest setting. Rainstorm and Monsoon are pretty good too. They have been working on balancing the difficulty and the health regen, but I like to just, relax, have fun, and not that I don't like a challenge, but for the length of the videos I typically do, I feel like easy is probably the best. So yeah, you start out in the world and you've got a couple different abilities. They're mainly used by your shift, your mouse, and the R key. So for this character, shift is actually going to be the majority of my damage, because I can just press it and do that quick dodge, or I can hold it, charge it up, and actually keep it fully charged. And then when I release it, she Superman punches. She also, with her right click, can send out this arm, which can grab onto things and pull her towards it. Weaker enemies will actually be pulled towards me instead because of the ability that I've unlocked. And as I charge this up, it obviously does a lot more damage. And then if I press R, it sends out this little Tesla turret, which has chain lightning. And also any enemy that I kill gives me a temporary shield. So that's nice. And throughout all the levels there are randomly generated chests that cost a certain amount of money. You get money for killing enemies, blah blah blah. That's the general gist, and the loop of the game is making it through 5 different levels, at which point you cycle back to this beginning level. There is another beginning level. There is some variety that you can get. Fully charged. Boom. Didn't quite kill him, but the Tesla took care of it. There we go. Now I have 50, so I can go back and get that better chest. Obviously, the more expensive chests do tend to have better items. There's like 4 different tiers of items, I guess. So there's whites, there's greens, reds, and then golds, I guess is what you would call them, which are boss drops exclusively. I love lining up enemies, just charging through them like that. Kind of want to go up there. And the whole point of this is difficulty increases the longer you take to get through a level. Okay, that's not bad. So you want to find a portal in each level, and the portal will trigger a defense mode, basically, where you have to stay within a certain radius and defend the portal. Not that the portal takes damage, but you just have to survive. In fact, that's actually the portal over there. And then once it finishes, you can move to the next level. There's also a boss, typically, with the portal once you activate it, and defeating that boss will give you a green item, but it can also give you a boss item. So that's basically the gist and the general loop of the game. I don't feel like I really need to explain too much else, aside from the fact that most items stack exponentially, and it's quite hilarious. There are some shrines and stuff like that I may encounter, which I'll explain as I do them. So yeah, let's see what this first wave is. Alright, Beetle Queen, so she pops up over there. Oop, shit. There we go, I've managed to save myself. Alright, good. Let's go ahead and use my Q. Q being my use item. I actually don't know what this did, if anything. But let's charge this up. There we go, good damage. Pull myself back in, and overshot, and there we go. Whoopsie. I keep doing that. I'm a freaking idiot. The physics of this is very strange. Like, I learned eventually to let go. There we go, so this is one of the boss items, so once I pick this up, it's the Queen's Gland. It will spawn a beetle ally, not one of these little ones actually, he's quite big. Yep, there he is over there. And he'll just help out. He does draw some aggro, and he does a pretty respectable amount of damage. So, in terms of positivity with autism, like I said, I wanted to talk about things that I'm thankful for when it comes to being autistic. So I think really the main thing for me that I'm thankful for is my level of passion when it comes to things. Basically the way my mind works is I'm either on or off, you know. Essentially I am not interested in something, or I'm full tilt, all about it, and it's very hard to exist in the middle ground. And that can be difficult. It doesn't always work out very well in my favor, but it means that when something piques my interest, I am going to get a tremendous amount of joy in exploring it, learning about it, practicing it, whatever, you know, whatever it is. For instance, oxygen not included. I keep going back to that because it is a special interest of mine, and I consider that a fantastic example of something that tremendously interested me, and I just have never lost that interest level. And as a result, like, I really enjoy like figuring out equations on how to generate resources from seemingly unrelated resources, and then doing the math to figure out how to support a colony with those. It's a really weird thing. A lot of people that I talk to, even in the unofficial Discord for the game, don't quite understand what I'm saying half the time because it's very complicated, and I've literally developed like entire equations and algorithms for different things. And I'm fascinated with it. I actually don't know what this use item is supposed to be doing. I've never gotten it before, so whatever. But yeah, I absolutely love the game. I adore it, and it gives me tremendous pleasure, even to just theory crap. You know, I can come up with all these complex designs and plans and equations, and almost never will they actually turn into colonies. Like, I have the math for some extremely perfect colonies. I even did the math for a zero-sum colony where nothing is wasted, like there's no buildup of any extra resources, but everything is generated from inside the colony itself, just because I wanted to know if it was possible. And it is, but it would take a lot of building in like sandbox mode in order to accomplish it, and I just don't feel like doing that. So I got all the joy I needed out of that, and you know, that little victory to me felt very similar to, like, if you're playing sports or something like that and you score a goal, or if you're arts and craftsy, like finishing a painting or a blanket or something along those lines. If you like cosplay, like having people compliment you on the props that you made or something along those lines, like that level of excitement and joy. I don't always get the recognition that people get when they accomplish those things, but it's on that same level, and it can, I feel, enrich lives. Certainly for me, it's enriched my life to embrace those, and to, whenever I feel that energy building up, like I'm really interested in something, I can, you know the feel, like when something just really piques your interest and you get that fuzzy warmth and you're like, yes, I really want to figure this out, and like your eyes start squinting a little bit because you're really thinking it out. Once that feeling starts to hit me, I just lean full tilt into it because I know that it's going to pay off, and it's a fun exercise, like mentally, to just work your brain, and then to get that payoff in the end. It's just a massive endorphin rush, and I really enjoy it. And I have that happen very often, and I wish more people could experience that. I'm really thankful for that. Uh, I've talked with some other people and like asked them how often do they get those feelings, you know, where they feel really like their ideas are coming to fruition, or their mind is really challenged and they get the chance to exercise their brain a little bit. And not many people get the opportunity to, and it could be that they've just, you know, compromised and are working in a field or in a situation where that's just not available to them. It could be that they haven't figured out yet what their passions are that would result in that. Um, you know, there's a lot of different reasons that you may not get those moments that often, and I would definitely encourage people to actively look for those opportunities and to lean full tilt into them like I do, because it is immensely satisfying. And those little memories of mine, they make my day, especially on days when I'm burnt out. I really enjoy being able to think, you know what, looking over my notes, yes, that looks like a serial killer's notebook, but you know what, I enjoyed doing it, and I don't care that other people don't understand it, because I love it. And if someone does understand it, it's even more exciting, because I know that's someone that probably would be a good friend to me. At the very least, they understand a segment of my mind that most people don't experience. And I honestly think that's probably what made my girlfriend fall in love with me, is seeing the level of passion that I have for strange things, and the amount of dedication that triggers when I am going full tilt into these ideas, because it's very clear when I'm engaged. Um, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but anyone who knows me, or probably anyone who knows someone who's autistic, you can just see and feel the energy is completely different when they're doing something that they're really passionate about. And it can be the strangest things. Like, I get extremely passionate about cleaning. Not that I'm like super obsessed with like cleanliness or anything like that. I just really enjoy the physical activity of cleaning the house and taking care of things. And it's really satisfying to sit down after, mopping and everything like that and know that the house is clean and you can relax. There's satisfaction to that. I really love doing the dishes by hand for the same reason. I grew up doing that. And it's just a nice stress relief. But yeah, I think that primarily is my main passion, not passion, my main positive. That's the one thing I love the most about being autistic. There certainly are downsides, and most of my videos probably are going to be like figuring out what those downsides are and working around them. I know the first few of my videos were definitely that. But yeah, I wanted to have some positivity to this because I don't regret or I'm not upset that I'm autistic. I enjoy the way my mind works. Um, it just takes some getting used to. It's kind of a strange world that I live in that I have to actively stop and think about how my mind functions and um, the psychology behind that, just to get by basically on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, I know most people don't have to deal with that. And I don't know, like, I don't hate it. I don't like that that's definitely something I have to do, but when I stop and look at what I'm capable of doing and how people react to me when they understand and recognize that what I'm doing I'm really passionate about, and getting the opportunities to really use that power. It's like having a sports car and finally being able to actually go 150, 160 miles per hour. You know, most of the time, if I had a sports car, I would be driving just at residential speeds. Like, what's the point in having a sports car? That's essentially how my brain is. Like, it's a sports car. And I try to find those opportunities where it's safe and ideal for me to use it in the manner that it's meant to be used. And not to say that other people can't operate at those speeds, they're able to operate at other speeds. They're not as fine-tuned, essentially. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I'm a special model, and I was not made to fit all situations, and I'm okay with that. I think that that's a good thing. So as I've been talking about all that, I've built up a decent little starting kit of items, as you can see. Like now, if you've been paying attention, like when I punch an enemy, they take fire, or they take bleeding damage generally. I have an increased crit rate. I got a magazine, which allows me to use my grappling twice, which is going to save me for when I over grapple, because I guarantee I'm going to do that more. That topaz brooch I just picked up adds even more temporary shield when I kill an enemy. So on top of getting temporary shield just for hitting them, I'm getting more when I kill them. This also is going to be a tremendous help. Armor piercing makes me do bonus damage to bosses. There is one item though that I'm particularly looking for, and that is a focus crystal. What it does is it's a flat, like 15% damage increase to melee, or when you're in close quarters with an enemy, which as a melee character I'm always going to be. So the more of those focus crystals I can get, just straight up, the more damage I'll do, the better I'll be. It's beautifully disgusting in how effective it can be. So, oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Oh, well, actually, before I mention that, so this is another thing that you can encounter. It's called a Shrine of Order, and what it will do if I decide to use a lunar coin, which is below my cache in the top left. If I use a lunar coin, it will take all of my greens and randomly choose one of my greens, which I have a couple, and make all of them that. It'll take all of my whites, do the same thing, all of my yellows, blah blah blah. Normally I wouldn't do this unless there was a printer. You know what? No, I'm not going to do it. It's too risky because on the off chance that it gives you something that cripples your ability to do damage over time or to do spike damage, like it can really screw up your mobility. It can screw up your survivability. I'm not super dependent on any of my items at the moment, but I'm too scared to actually do it. So we're just going to ignore it and go ahead and go for this. We'll get Clay Dune Strider. So this guy is definitely one of the more annoying bosses. He has a couple projectile attacks which are pretty nasty, but what I find the most nasty, aside from this heat-seeking attack that he just did, is when he's at lower health. Much like the cube that's my Q item, he will pull enemies in and drain their health and heal himself, and it sucks. It sucks a lot. He's probably, yep, he's about to do it. And he can do that to you too. So you see the amount of health that he just built right back up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this right here and punch my way through that. There we go. And he also takes much less damage when that's active. But I figured if I could get a bunch of enemies there, I could get some of them to explode on death. It looks like that helped. Yeah, there we go. Now he's dead. Plus my punch just does a tremendous amount of damage anyway. And looks like we're getting another shield. So this shield, you'll notice like there's a couple orbiting shields around me. That's all it does, is that when you're sprinting, you get extra defense. And you can see like the amount of enemies I'm hitting is keeping a ridiculous amount of temporary shields on top of my health, so it's not like I'm at risk at all. There. So satisfying to punch through enemies. I was getting a couple of texts, so while I trigger this, check that. Oh yeah, so what I was going to mention earlier was I had intended to record Monster Hunter World for today's video, and I did actually go through with it, but the fun part is that for some reason perhaps decided to desync almost all of the audio, and it progressively got worse, but it also distorted a tremendous amount of both the in-game audio and my recording. So it was completely unusable footage. Like, there was no way I could have salvaged that. Luckily, I only played for like 45 minutes or so because I didn't have a whole lot to talk about today, because I was just, you know, positivity and then ranting about whatever game I'm playing. But yeah, so I'll work on that and see if I can get it to record safely in the future, because Monster Hunter is definitely another interest of mine. I have played a tremendous amount of that over the years of the titles being available, so I definitely have a lot that I can talk about on the Monster Hunter front. It may not be the best because I need to focus very heavily in order to play intelligently, but we'll see how it goes. That's generally why I like these kind of thoughtless games where I can just go around and I don't have to think too much, at least early in the game. As Risk of Rain ramps up, you do have to pay more attention because things get hectic very quickly. This is another potential boss that you could have faced. I didn't face him though, he just randomly spawned, so I've grappled to him, and I'm just punching the shit out of him. I don't have a double jump, so I can't get on top of him at the moment, but if I jump, I can punch. There we go. And grapple and just keep slamming him. Still not quite on him, but that's fine. This should kill him. There we go. Punch right through him. And let's go see what else there is. So there's the portal. You can also get drones, that's what this is. It's a healing drone. They tend to die off pretty quickly, so I never really bother. There are a couple achievements that you need drones to get. Not that they're bad, it's just they just don't last. The difficulty scales much faster than they do, so it is what it is. There's a green choosy thingy up there. Let's go up here. I do also want to play Minecraft at some point on this channel. I play a lot of different mods. Ooh, this is a good item. This is the one I was mentioning with elites that allows me to kill them below a certain health point. But yeah, I do want to play Minecraft. There's a couple mod packs I really enjoy. Specifically, I am obsessed with mod packs based around Skyblock or Ex Nihilo style gameplay. Ex Nihilo obviously is a specific mod, but there's a bunch of different variants. Lately, I've been, like just yesterday, I started playing around with, what is it called? Chemical Exchange or something along those lines, which is a chemistry-based EMC mod Skyblock kind of game. It's complicated, but essentially it looks like someone wanted to be able to build a periodic table in Minecraft, and they made a mod around that. So almost all items can be broken down into individual elements, and then you can use those elements to craft compounds and then complex chemicals, and then use those chemicals to generate resources. And it's really fascinating. I've only just gotten into the basics of it, so I still have a lot to learn and a lot to progress, but I'm looking forward to playing that a lot more. And I think it would be pretty neat to play on the channel. I do love that kind of gameplay in general. Anything where you can generate resources from nothing, that's where a lot of my math from Oxygen Not Included comes from, is figuring out those complexities. So any game pretty much in that vein, you can expect me to probably play on this channel at some point, as soon as I can afford it or find it. For instance, another game that's been on my radar for a while, it's still in early access, is a game called Flotsam, which is very similar to Oxygen Not Included in that it is a colony building simulator, but it's based on being out at sea and building everything from salvaged trash that you find in the ocean, which is really fascinating. It's a cute concept with a dark message, you know, but I really enjoy it. It's adorable art style, and you don't directly control the people just like you don't directly control the duplicants. So there's a lot of similarity there, which I like. But I really wish more games would go that route. And I've actually started to study game and simulation programming again. I initially went to college for that, and I'm teaching it to myself again because I really would like more games to be in that vein, and I don't see many developers actively going down that path. So I would like to learn programming and start going down that path myself. Just, you know, even if I only ever develop a game for myself, it would be fantastic just to be able to play something that, you know, really tickled my fancy. Because I know I have weirdly specific interests. I think, you know, that's the case with just about everybody. You know, they find certain genres of games that they enjoy, and they tend to stick to them, which I respect. And it just so happens that the one genre I have fallen in love with is the one that's still very new. So there isn't a whole lot of content for them. But we'll get there. You know, Minecraft has done amazingly for the game industry in general. It has introduced a lot of things, and it has been available to a much wider audience than I think they ever intended. And you can't fault them for, you know, that. I mean, a lot of people hate Minecraft simply because it is what it is, but I think that is all the more reason why people should love Minecraft. It brings people together of all ages and of all playstyles. Roblox is kind of doing the same thing, where people are able to design new game modes constantly in Roblox, and they've been doing the same in Minecraft for quite some time. You know, any tool that allows people to express themselves and to play how they want to play, as opposed to just the way that the developer intends, I think is something that should be applauded. You know, modding communities in general serve not just to enrich the games that they are modding, but to enrich the community and gaming in general. And I think we should all support that. Oh, the portal's there. I didn't see any major chest caches. I didn't explore too much either, but I don't care. I just want to move on to the next level. Beetle Queen again. Let's charge up a punch. Blast through these. There we go. Yes. Go. And an old war stealth kit. So that's not a super great thing for me. I mean, it's not bad by any means. It does better on certain characters. Essentially, you get a chance when you're hit to go invisible. Enemies can still hit you, they just can't target you or see you. Just fine. It works really well for Rex, which is the robot with the flowers, because it does count the damage that he does to himself when he uses his abilities as being hit. So he can use that as a way to just basically be invisible non-stop. You know what, yeah, I'll just go ahead and buy that drone, figure out what this is. Yeah, so this, I get why they included it. It's called Crowdfunder, obviously, it's a golden gun, and it uses your money to do progressively more damage faster. It's pretty good in that regard, like, function-wise, it works. And the reason why they included it is because this was a Kickstarter game, it was crowdfunded, and I respect that. But at the same time, this is objectively a terrible weapon. It's a terrible use item. There are so many other better items to get. And it's even worse when you get an item called the Gesture of the Drowned, which forces your use item to use itself, because you can get yourself into a state where you are perpetually broke, because the gun will always be active, always using all of your money, and any kills you get, you'll instantly use all the money before you get the chance to get rid of it by buying another use item. In fact, the only way I know of to actually get rid of it is to spend lunar coins on lunar pods or a lunar use item, or to find a drone which there is a specific drone that allows you to give it an equipment item and then it can use it, which is hilarious because you're functionally creating a useless equipment drone, but it at the very least removes that one item that you were incapable of getting rid of, so you can finally start generating money. The only problem is by the time you actually get to that point, you probably have fallen severely behind on the power game, because enemies are leveling up just as fast as you. Oh, you actually survived. There we go. Go back and get that big chest I saw. My mouth feels a little dry from talking. It's probably because I had to record 2 videos. That and, like I said, I live in Ohio, so the weather is off and on, like, just strange. Today it's very dry and cold, so without a drink on hand, because that was intelligent of me, it's a little bit painful, but you know what? I don't care. I enjoy making these videos, and I'm going to suffer for them. That's my 4th rose buckler, Jesus. As if I need that much defense. Like, I mean, I'm sprinting around a lot. So that's the invisibility that you just saw, where I turned into essentially a wireframe, because I took damage. Generally in this game, though, you don't want to be standing still too much. Alright, follow borders up there. Get some punches in. Ooh, I just spotted. So, another really fantastic item for the loader is this crowbar, because you do more damage to healthy enemies. I believe it's 80%, so as long as they have 80% health or more, you do, I think it's like 50% extra damage. So these bosses just spawned, nice and healthy. They ain't anymore. That one's already dead over there, pretty much. Just go and throw that over there, that'll kill him off. This one is gonna die pretty soon. Let's charge a punch, and he's dead. And the other one's dead too. Perfect. So you can see, like, this is, as I said, a very burst-heavy character. Like, she just does progressively more and more damage as you get these melee upgrades, and it's disgusting. Usually the only thing that kills her is there's an enemy called a Malachite. It's an elite type where there can be fire, frost, electric, blah blah blah. Malachite ones prevent you from getting any healing if you get hit by them, which definitely sucks. And they also have a tremendous amount of health, so it can take a little while to get rid of them. They're pretty much, they exist as a bane to any build that relies heavily on health from hits or kills, and that usually is when you start to fall off as the game progresses. But so far we are doing good. We are moving on to stage 7. Stage 7 is the first opportunity you get to actually obliterate yourself. So this third stage, everything is in 5-stage groups. So this is stage 3, Rally Point Delta. There is also the Wizard Garden or something along those lines. I can't remember what it's called. But there's one other one. And when you spawn in here, you'll see it says a celestial orb has appeared. So that means that at the portal, when I find it, you'll see a little orb circling around the center. And when the teleporter finishes charging, a separate portal will appear, a celestial portal. And that will send you to essentially another dimension where there's this obelisk that you can activate. And when you activate it, it ends your run, but it gives you 5 lunar coins. The lunar coins themselves are useful because you can also get a blue portal, or you can purchase a blue portal with a lunar coin from a specific shrine, speaking of lunar coin. And that will send you to a lunar shop run by this giant, like, nuke god, basically. And you can get some really powerful items there. You can also transmute, I think it's 5 white items for 1 green item and 3 green items for 1 red item, which is a horrible trade. But you know, if there's one item that is particularly good and you have a large surplus and you just want, you know, one of these things to really boost your damage, it's a good trade. So yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. Since I don't have a blue portal yet, I'll just go ahead and buy it. So now there should be a blue orb and a celestial orb. You can only go through one. One or the other, or use the teleporter to just advance to the next level, your choice. I'm gonna go through the blue portal because I paid for it, but yeah. Let's go ahead and see what we get. Is another Doomstrider? Nope, it's Magmorm. Alrighty. Magmorm's over there, it looks like. Let's drop this down. Let's get rid of these guys. I think that this also tends to make the Magmorm hang out around it. Like, it does seem to pull him a little bit. I don't know how well it actually functions. But either way, I want to get rid of this stupid ox first. There we go. Charge this up. Get a good punch in. And charge up another good punch. And he should be dead as soon as he pops back up above the ground. There we go. What did he give me? He gave me an infusion. So infusions are really nice because they do stack, and they give you 1 health per kill permanently. So my health is increasing by 2 now every time I get a kill because I have 2 infusions. And it will do that for up to 100 health, so you do need additional stacks in order for it to keep giving you health. But in the first game, that was not capped. Your health was just capped out at 9999, and it was very easy to get to maximum health very early, especially since there was another item called Ginger Root, which gave you just a flat percentage increase of your health. So that's the celestial portal that'll allow you to end your game. It's the blue portal that sends me to the shop. There we go. I'll probably end it on the next loop just for the sake of it. So this is what I was talking about, the gesture of the drowned. It will automatically activate my use item. Since there are two of them, I may actually do it. Ooh. So this is healing on hit, which is good. And I had it backwards. It's 3 white items for 1 green and 5 green items for 1 red, which is fair because this red item, which I'm absolutely gonna get, oof, took some really good items, is the 57 leaf clover, which looks like a giant piece of lettuce on the side of my face. But when it says luck is on your side, basically any item that has a chance to cause an effect on hit will, if it fails, it'll roll that again for the chance to be positive. So it functionally like doubles the chance, and the more you get, it just becomes like basically a guarantee that whatever on-hit items you have are going to trigger. It's disgustingly powerful. Also, the last time I was on this level, you saw me punching these little egg clusters. I didn't manage to find them all, but if you find them all and trigger them, a special boss appears, and killing it will give you a free red item on this level. So I also got a modifier for this, as you saw in the chat, that the only enemy that's going to be spawning for this round looks to be beetles. I don't know if that'll impact the rare boss. I'm definitely hoping that I'll find all the eggs to find out. So there's actually one right there. And let's get rid of this queen real quick. I think I have to get 5 egg clusters, so that's 3 already. So we're doing good on that front. Oh yeah, the other thing about the gesture of the drown that I picked up 2 of them. It decreases the cooldown on your use items as well. So originally, this cube had like a 40 or 50 second cooldown. It's down to 26 second cooldown. It's much easier. But I picked those up because there are some better use items that I'm hoping that I find. In fact, I'm going to open this up as well, see if I can get another gesture. Okay, that's not good. That replaces my shift, which is my punch, which I would never do. Punch is just way too good on this character. But yeah, there's some better use items that have pretty short cooldowns on their own, and it can get obscenely powerful if you stack those, as well as another item called the fuel cell, which further reduces the cooldown, and it also gives you an extra charge on your use items, which is it's so much fun. There we go. Haven't seen any other egg clusters yet. I know where they may spawn though. Let's go back out here. Ooh, another lunar pod. Anything good? Yay, another gesture. So now my cooldown is reduced, I think, in increments. So the first one is a 50% reduction. I don't know if it's 50% each one on top of that. It may be 25% and then it just keeps reducing down, just so that it isn't completely overpowered. But either way, let's see. The cooldown was at 26 seconds. Cooldown is now at 22. So I do think it is incremental. Or reducing. It's fine. That's fine. Everything's fine. Alright, let's go look for these egg clusters. I don't want to spend too much long on here. Alright, there's 2 of them. So the wearing grows the louder. Yep, there he is. The alloy worship unit. So this is the random boss. Oh, not random boss. The hidden boss, I guess I should say. And he can be quite a bastard. So he has some very powerful attacks, but what makes him particularly dangerous is occasionally he can activate a shield, and when he activates the shield, you'll see these giant circles appear on the ground that are essentially gravity wells, and once they fully charge up, they will send you sky high and slam you down very hard. And that would normally be bad for me, It's particularly bad for most characters if you don't have a specific item because you take severe fall damage. But the benefit of the loader, that's the circles I was telling you about, the benefit of the loader is that you do not take fall damage. So all it did was catapult me out of the world, essentially. But it is fun to just sit on top of this boss and just punch it to death. Also, that massive collection of beetle guards down there is entertaining me. Alright, this one's almost down, and then that'll give me a free red item over there. Well, as soon as he stops putting up a shield, like the shield is temporary, it only activates, you know, when he's doing that ability, and then it disappears like that. So he should be dying. I could do a power punch and just get rid of him right now, but just punch him to death. There we go. And what did we get? There should be a red item right here. Ooh. So the Aegis, healing past full grants you a temporary barrier. So any healing that I'm getting from kills and such will also be giving me temporary barriers. So basically I have like 3 different methods of generating temporary barriers right now, which is ridiculous. But I've definitely been in this level long enough, I should be activating the portal and getting out of here now. I got my free red, that's what matters. I didn't find any use items that I wanted to swap out for, but that is okay. And we get Beetle Queens because this is a Beetle exclusive level. The level itself is not Beetle exclusive, I should clarify. As you saw the first time that I was here, it's just that I got that modifier that made all enemies beetles. You can also get modifiers for all jellyfish, all stone golems, you know, there's a couple different ones that you can get. It's annoying at times, but it can be beneficial. I find the beetles are pretty easy. Golems can be particularly rough because they have that laser attack that they do, and it seems to like hit scan almost. Like they have incredibly good accuracy on that thing. It's disgusting. Let's get a good punch in. But yeah, so far this run's going really well. I honestly don't see why this run would end other than me intentionally ending it for the sake of wrapping up this video. But in general, like, you always have that risk versus reward. It is fun to spend Lunar to get these really overpowered things like the Gesture of the Drowned. There's also one that just straight up doubles your damage and halves your health. It's ridiculously powerful. Definitely a risk worth taking in my opinion for like 1 or 2 stacks. It can get very dangerous the more you do. But yeah, it's worth it to obliterate every run. Not every run, every so often, just to have a surplus of Lunar, so that if you really want to buy a bunch of Lunar stuff like gestures, you can go crazy. So we're back here, so after this one, and then one more, we'll be back at the 3rd map, and that will give us our opportunity to go and obliterate myself. Ooh, this is also fun. This is a shrine, which when I first started playing this game I had no idea what this was. So I was like, okay, what's the Shrine of the Mountain? You've invited the challenge of the mountain. Well, that sounds ominous. What does that mean? Like, is that going to make enemies more difficult? No, it actually just straight up makes the boss wave when you defend much more difficult. It basically re-rolls the difficulty, and it can either... what am I doing? I'm just spinning in circles around this guy. It can just straight up increase the difficulty, or it can double the bosses, or it can roll an even more difficult boss. At this point, it's probably going to give me an elite pack of bosses, or something along those lines. So, I don't think it'll be a difficult boss, but it'll be quite fun. I do have 2 of those guillotines, so if I do get an elite boss, it won't be so bad. Because I think I'll only need to get them down to like 40% health, and then they should automatically die because of the guillotine. Let's see. Hoping for some more big chests. Or like I said, a better use item. The cube is good just for crowding up enemies so that my punches mean more, but there are more fun ones that I was hoping to be able to showcase. portals over there. Just gonna do a quick pass over here. Ooh, big chest. But I don't have the money for it anymore. How much money do I get from you? That may be enough. 457. What do you cost? 776. Alright, let's go kill this. Stand on your head. Just punch away. There we go. Now I'm actually hitting it. Yeah, they fixed it so that you can actually be hit by that, but you used to be able to stand on top of the jellyfish, and you wouldn't be hit by that area of effect attack, so it was just completely safe. Well, that's not bad. Also, this is a celestial enemy. You can see that giant orb that was just spawned. What they do is they make enemies around them invisible, and I think they also slightly buff them. Not in itself particularly useful, but it really depends on what enemies are inside that invisibility cloak. Especially like Malachite elites or things of those nature. Blazing Stone Titan, that's what I was expecting. So Stone Titans themselves are absolutely terrible. Look at my health, it's almost fucking gone because of the fire damage around that guy. I may actually lose. But you can see that that limit on his health down near where the fire indicator is means I only need to get him to that point. The problem is I take so much fire damage. Oh, yep, I'm dead. But yeah, his laser attack does fire damage for each hit, and it like ticks once every second. It's insanely powerful. It says killed by question mark. I was actually killed by fire. I know what I was killed by. But it is cool to look at all these stats. I was alive for 46 minutes essentially. I killed 557 enemies. I dealt just shy of 700,000 damage. My minion did a pretty respectable amount himself. Highest level 17, collected a decent amount of gold, items collected 54. Completed 8 stages, and I bought 55 things, so it's not bad. I'm a little sad that I didn't get to go and obliterate myself to recoup those lunar coins that I spent, but you know what, I had fun. Just go ahead and hit continue, it takes you back here. And that's been Risk of Rain 2. As always with these videos though, guys, if you are having any difficulties whatsoever, please talk to people, reach out to anyone around you, friend, foe, or even online. There's communities for just about anything. There's my channel, obviously, that you're watching. If you have any struggles, you know, I'm here for you. People will be there for you. Just reach out. Love you guys. Bye.